Hollywood trade organizations, the unions, DGA, WGA, SAG-AFTRA, all preparing for yet another strike. And this time, the fight might have everything to do with AI, an existential threat to all of the Hollyweirds. We'll tell you what it is they fear and why this time it's for real. It's a beautiful day, folks, and thank you for coming our way to Somewhere Sunny, USA. The studio is glistening as you're listening to what we have to say. A platter of chatter, served up fresh, hot, and with truth. That's a capital T sprinkled throughout. Folks, as we dive in to yet another one, click the like button, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts. And if you'd be so kind to subscribe, if you have not yet already, folks, it would be divine to have you by our side. The Walt Disney Company is preparing to go all in on AI, and the Hollywood labor talks have begun to fight said AI. Screen Daily has this one by John Hazelton. Hollywood labor talks begin 3 years after lengthy strikes. Says talks between Hollywood labor unions and studios over new employment contracts kicked off on Monday. As representatives from Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers began formal negotiations in LA. The talks are being held under a media blackout, with both sides agreeing that neither will comment to the media during the process. Talks between producers and the Writers Guilds of America are set to start on March 6th, and between producers and the Directors Guild of America on the 11th. If the SAG-AFTRA negotiations do not result in agreement by May 6th, they'll resume with the WGA and DGA talks. It says it is widely expected that the big issues for discussion in the contract talks will include healthcare and AI, and we all know AI is the complete and total existential threat to so many careers for actors, good or bad. Culture Crave at the same day is reporting this. The Disney board says new president Dana Walden's early objectives include exploring and incorporating AI into movie production and improving profits generated by Disney Plus. And those go hand in hand, by the way. All right, so what's all the fuss about? Because there's going to be a big fuss. Well, the mask is off. Variety, reporting from Cynthia Littleton that the Disney board chairman says the succession plan was done cleanly in unanimous vote for Josh D'Amaro. But this is a headline that has one heck of a story in here. We're going to scroll down to we get to it because it has to do with AI. We're skipping the Josh D'Amaro stuff, getting to Dana. It says in this changing landscape, and they're asking James Gorman, the head of the Disney board, placed in there by Wall Street, says in this changing landscape, what do you think the key areas of focus for Dana in this new film and TV job should be? Answer from James Gorman, Wall Street mogul. I don't want to presume. I will let Dana speak for herself. When she gets settled in the job, it's probably only fair. But obviously, how AI is incorporated into movie production, how to continue to generate the kinds of margins that others in the industry have across streaming, enjoying storytelling, blah, blah, blah. The first thing out of Wall Street for this new job that Dana Walden has been given is get the AI going. And at the same time, the unions are getting ready to battle for their lives to stop AI. Lou, you know way more about this than almost anybody on the planet. Well, how is this going to play out with Disney going all in on AI and the unions saying no, no, no?
Is a puzzlement, as somebody once said. By the way, I don't know what those Brits calling labor L-A-B-O-U are. I think they know what they're talking about.
Labour.
Yes. Look, guys, the reason why early negotiations happen, and these are what is known officially as early negotiations, meaning they're not right on top of the deadline when the contract expires, is to take a few big issues like AI, like pensions, whatever, and solve them if they can, and get them out of the way, and they will not deal with the smaller issues. So it's going to be hot and heavy intensive. And nobody's really made any formal proposals yet, nor will they until we find out what comes out of these allegedly secret meetings, which we'll find out. We'll find out.
Lou, is it likely that this will be more intense than the last round, which saw strikes and all of that? And do you think that the last round and their inability to touch on AI back then has put them into the spot that they are, where this could be very contentious?
And you know, we've heard all these people spitballing about making it a 6-year contract instead of 3, and that ain't going to happen, because if they don't think things are going to change in 3 years, imagine how much they'll change in 6. They got themselves behind the 8 ball last time by saying, look, we solved it. And no, they didn't. They made it worse. So they're not about to do that again for purely image and political reasons, if not practical ones. I think, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm not wrong. But I think that guy in Sacramento has a lot to do with this by saying, I don't need to run for president with you guys killing the economy of my state further, because I'll have to blame you, and you wouldn't let me to do that, would you? So I think there's a certain amount of pressure from that sector to try and make everybody play nice. And we'll see if it has enough poop to do it. So I don't know.
Now,
I really have no clue, Pro. So many things have been said that have been so stupid and so contradictory and so guaranteed to piss people off that they're walking down a dangerous road. They just are.
Speaking of pissing people off, for me, I don't think it's the actors. No, Culture, you're not allowed to be pissed off right now. Oh. I don't think it's the actors. I don't think it's the directors who are in the most danger. I think they're in danger. I think everybody in Hollywood right now, because of their political posturing and the propagandizing and all of that and making partisan films, they're all in danger. But Andy, it's the animators that I think are really facing a horrible situation here. Yeah. Andy, I actually think that this is the last year that Hollywood is going to put out animated films that only they can make. And I truly believe that after this year with AI, I think that the average Joe in his basement can make Toy Story 6 and 7 for his own watching pleasure using I really believe it. I know people think I'm crazy, but come back next year, folks, and tell me if I got it wrong. This is the end of the line. And what that's going to do is it's going to depreciate the amount of money it takes to put a film, an animated film out. So I think we're in the last year. This is the final year before people can make their own movies.
But it's not about what it looks like. It's about the story and the characters.
Yes, true.
And I will grant you that 99% of these people can't write any better than the Writers Guild, but that's not saying that the Writers Guild is so great.
But the 1% can, and the 1% will maybe rise to the top, and suddenly...
If they do their own IP, if they don't do... like we watched that Star Wars one. It was so well done. And I thought, why don't you do your own story? Then
Lou, how many John Lasseters are secretly out in America? They just need to be given the power. They live in Nebraska. They live in Idaho. They live in places that there's no future for them to make a movie until now. How many of those people are just out there that are in that 0.01% of creative minds that just need this moment to happen to unleash it?
It's still 0.01%.
Yes.
Is my answer. And there's a whole of a lot of them who think they are and aren't. And we've seen the results over and over and over again.
But Andy, what do you think
not all the bad writers are in Hollywood.
Andy, what do you think about the idea that the cost to make these kinds of movies and the crazy FX that you see in superhero films, by the way, as well, no longer going to be an issue whatsoever?
I will say that I think that the writers in Hollywood are probably not the primary problem. There's probably some of these people that can write pretty well, but I think they're getting so much pressure from different groups you have to include this and tie this in with this. So they're dancing through a minefield and trying to tell a cohesive story with it. And if they were free, and is what you're going to get with some, and Lou's right, like there's talent out there, but there's really, really good. It's just like every other field. There's a million kids that play baseball, but there's only 10,000 that make it into the major leagues. It's like, so you've got storytellers, but then you got really, really good storytellers. Now, how many have walked away because they didn't want to deal with that bureaucracy and somebody else telling them what to do with the story, so forth like that, and they get blamed?
And how many use that as an excuse, Andy, when it was really their lack of talent?
I agree. Look, a lot of these people get into these positions because they know somebody. We certainly saw that because nobody's going to tell me that the writers of The Acolyte got there by talent. They had a similar ideology, and they were brought in because of that. And they had somebody that was their friend, and they gave them a job. I think that this stuff coming out with AI doing things, there's going to be so much garbage that comes out with it, but you will have some things that come out good. I think overall it's going to make everything kind of forgettable. But I think the biggest problem that you're running into with it is that you're going to have some of these people that can do the story they want, and they make it the way they want, and everything's going to become a niche. People are going to get exactly the story that they want. And when everybody can make their own story, nobody's going to watch on a big screen a movie because, well, why should I do that when I've got my own particular thing that I want to see? You'll have all the septum ring people with their multicolored hair making their own shows, and hopefully they'll be happy with that. Hopefully they'll make their little things, and they'll make their own little groups, and they can have awards, and they can pat themselves in the back. But I think it's going to fracture into a lot of niche markets, like we're seeing this with the Star Wars fan films.
But look, I support what you're saying, Andy, and I agree with you. But I think 42% of writing jobs disappeared just between 2023 and 2024. You're looking at 1,200 people that lost their jobs in television and film just in that short period of time. So when you look at like the number of writers, there are fewer than there ever have been before, or at least in the modern area when we have like all of these channels to fill up with content. So, the reliance on something else, which let's assume for now is AI, hasn't benefited anybody yet. And yet, one of the mandates that was given to Dana Walden in exchange for her taking the position she just took is that she find a useful purpose for AI in the production of future Disney content. Well, we've already seen what that produces. We got She-Hulk and many other pieces of garbage. What can we expect in the future going forward, since we're now in the midst of negotiations that, if Lou, correct me if I'm wrong, this contract has to be written by the end of the year?
Oh, no. July. Oh. July.
Okay. So it's even worse than that because they don't even have a good start. They don't even have a good start on it.
Well, and somewhere behind the scenes they do.
No, come on, let's be honest. Look at what happened with the Writers Guild the last time. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the Directors Guild, who always goes first and tried to go first already, and we're very disappointed. And I think Lou already pointed out that the 6 years they're looking for is a fairy tale. I don't think it's going to happen. They're looking for job protection, and not only that, SAG-AFTRA. And I'm going to talk about this tomorrow morning on the 6 Minute Daily, is looking for the same thing. This is a fantasy land that these people are living in. They don't understand that their jobs disappeared the moment that, well, they opened the door. This never had to be an issue if you just made good things with good people. And I think Tom has been talking about this for, my entire existence here on YouTube.
Well, there's sort of a awful good news, bad news, good news joke in all of this. The good news is they're not going to be so stupid as to take 6 years in return for a bunch of money for the pension and health plans that are failing. The bad news is those pension and health plans are failing. The good news is there's so much less people working that there are going to be so many people who vest, who qualify for the health and pension plans that it might even itself out. And let us remember that none of any of these folks out there in AI land doing it on their own who are not members of a guild are getting any kind of benefits out of it. So it's going to be a mess.
Let me show you guys why I think we're facing a huge battle. This is a video that Grums has put out there. This is, you all know that there's this very strange benchmark where it's a test of AI to see if they can make Will Smith eating spaghetti. And in 3 years, it's gone insane. But the latest video gen stuff just came out. Hollywood's going to be using it. They are. They'll be using the next stuff too. Here's an example of where we are right now versus where we were. And this is why I'm showing this on purpose, folks. What was it, 2023 we did the last strikes, Lou?
Yeah. Okay.
Back then, I was saying, we were warning, AI is coming to get you, Hollywood, AI. And everybody was looking at this and saying, you guys don't know. You're so silly. You think this is going to come. Watch this, folks.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Uncle Phil, come try this. Fresh pasta of Bel Air.
Have to be a little careful because of the Bel Air music. Yeah, but we'll play it. This is 2025. You ready for 26? We're only a month into 26. Here you go.
So good.
Hang on a second. We can play this. The audio's gone now. Here we go.
So have you heard of Kling 3.0?
It's amazing.
I heard it can create multiple scene cuts like this with a single prompt.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it knows when the
Culture, don't say that as many spaghetti. It's a lot. You get a little too excited, buddy. A little more.
But this isn't
Whoever
supposed
is
to
talking.
be this good.
But did you know that all this audio was also generated with the same prompt?
And that's enough, folks. You get the idea. It's Hollywood level now. And this is the battle. This is the war.
And
What
they
I
don't
want is
know
somebody
that.
to generate a video of Will Smith slapping somebody on screen while eating spaghetti.
Well, they
I want to
did.
know why it couldn't be a beautiful woman, doing something. Why can't that be the benchmark? Why did it have to be Will Smith eating spaghetti?
Hey! I think that was the best AI video I've ever seen. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, right, Tom?
We need a video where Will Smith gets slapped by everybody.
Everybody.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of agree a lot with what Lou's saying. Like, there's only a small percentage of people who are going to be able to use this technology to make something that are going to get a large mass of people on board. So
Right, because it's the what would you say, Tom? It's the access pipeline. Like everybody's going to be making this stuff, but only a small segment of society is going to be given that signal
will
boost that it
happen.
requires.
And it will happen. Somebody might do something original, or as I've predicted for a while, somebody's going to go back in and redo the Star Wars sequels, and a lot of people will be like, yeah, that's better. And that's when Hollywood will freak out a lot. But I think a lot of them are getting ahead of the game on some of this stuff. Now, I don't know about the SAG, the Writers Guild so much, because Script Doctor was kind of giving us the impression that they're not going to go on strike probably, but I don't know yet. That could change overnight. That kind of stuff does.
Yeah, I would say the writers are not in as much danger as the actors.
No, because I'll tell you what, I've used AI. We tried one time to use AI to help us write a script. We had to rewrite the whole thing, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It's not quite there yet. There's still avenues and places, and you have to be good to use it. And if you're not able to catch everything, it's still a problem. Look, it's never going to be. I don't think people are ever going to be able to get away from Hollywood in general as far as like making movies, right? Like that's still going to exist. But as far as special effects teams, that kind of stuff I'd worry about more. Like those type of groups are going to be more to worry about.
Well,
other than that, it's a lot of service industry stuff. It's like we should be more worried about some of this stuff than everybody else.
Well, I look at it, Tom, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like there's a lot of production side stuff that can be affected by this, like the people, the intermediaries, right? So like building shot lists, things.
It's going to be
like
the people
that.
you don't see that are going to get hurt more. So
yeah,
that's
below the line
thing.
people are going to be worse off, I think. Yeah, I think
But they already are.
'Cause you still
and as
need
far
a
as the
Will
Writers
Smith.
Guild, the Writers Guild screwed themselves so badly last time that they haven't got farther to go this time. I mean, I could go into that for an hour and I won't, but they eliminated thousands of their own jobs with the deal they made last time. So, what can I say?
Folks, we'll keep an eye on it, but things are changing. Andy, you get the last word.
Lou, I was just wondering when you said like how many writers had been out of a job. In the old days, people went into writing because it was a passion for them, and they really pursued that. And we got good quality writing because it reflected the real life experience they had. Do you foresee a point where we'll get some of these college graduate writers that come out of school and go right into these jobs? And do you think it will go back to that more seasoned approach at some point?
Well,
no, because
I think
go ahead. Sorry, Tom.
I think I can answer that because Script Doctor kind of addressed that. He was saying that the people that are all whining and complaining and griping and want a strike are those people that are losing their jobs in Hollywood because they aren't any good, right? Like that's kind of what they're doing is weeding out the crap now because you had a lot of people that were DEI hires and these exist, right? Like in some of these cases, you had people that were brought on to stabs where the show itself wasn't even paying for that person. It was some outside source. So like these people are the ones that are losing their jobs and they're panicking and they're freaking out and they can't get new jobs. So that's kind of what he was getting at is like, it's kind of the system working itself out and shaking out all these other people because he's finally starting to get a lot more work than he has in years and stuff like that. So, and his whole reason that the only reason he could figure he wasn't getting work was the color of his skin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and look, and that's been happening for quite some time.
Well, it's between his legs too. But yeah.
Well, he's a guy, unfortunately, but I mean, I like him. But anyway, what I'm going to say is this: I think that I think that things will eventually balance itself, but the way it does that is because as Tom was talking about, there's exposure. Your lack of talent is exposed. Your lack of experience is exposed. And you hit on the most important thing. The people coming out of college have no life experience. They likely didn't suffer any consequences for any action that happened in their entire lifetime. Most people are helicopter parented and catered to if they're coming through the college system because that's how their parents got them there in the first place. So it's the people that came from the school of hard knocks that have more interesting lives. I mean, I can speak that into truth, and probably many other people here on this screen. But that's where storytelling comes from. It's from those difficult points in life that can be expressed in storytelling that, well, has been absent largely from Hollywood for a long period of time.
It's also about observing people and situations outside of your own little world. And a lot of these people are navel gazers. They just are. And that doesn't make for good writing.
Hope.
All right. Well, folks, we'll keep an eye on it, but this is going to be a transformational period. How will the guilds, how will the unions, how will they respond? Well, folks, we'll keep an eye on it for you. Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.